If you are about to buy a pre-owned vehicle, please do not sign anything until you've watched this video, because I'm going to show you something most car buyers aren't fully aware of. A Carfax report can look almost perfect at the top. No accidents, one owner, regular oil changes, even a good value badge at the top from Carfax itself. But the report below can still tell a completely different story if you know how to read between the lines. I'm going to walk you through the exact method we use at yourcarhaggler.com to read a Carfax when we go shopping for a pre-owned vehicle on behalf of our clients. Then I'm going to show it to you live on an actual report we pulled this week on a real car that is for sale. By the end of this video, you will know how to do this yourself if you want to go on that path solo. If you want help, I'm Stuart, the owner of yourcarhaggler.com. We are personal car shoppers. We help our clients save time, stress, and money when they are buying or leasing their next vehicle nationwide. And this is exactly what we do for our clients who are shopping for a pre-owned vehicle. Many consumers think that used cars are easier to shop for than a new car. But in our experience, finding the perfect pre-owned vehicle can be far harder. If you want a new CRV, there might be 100 identical ones within 50 miles, but every used car is completely different. Every one of them has a story, and that story lives in the Carfax, but only partly. The rest of it lives in between the lines on that Carfax. Here's the 4-step method we use. Then we'll apply all 4 to one real car that we saw when looking for our client. Step 1, do not stop at the top. The badges at the top of the Carfax are the summary. No accidents, one owner, regular oil changes, certified pre-owned. Most buyers read that far and stop. And that's when the mistake happens. The badges can be green and the car underneath them can still have a story worth knowing. Step 2, read the service history like a timeline, not a list. Don't just look at what was done. Look at the dates. Look at the mileage between visits. Look for clusters, visits bunched together in a short window. Look for big gaps. Look for things that happen off of the normal service schedule. Step 3, read what the Carfax doesn't say. When a service entry just says vehicle serviced with no detail, that's Carfax telling you it doesn't know what happened because the dealership didn't report what they did. A typical service entry will list the actual work: oil and filter changed, tires rotated, brakes checked. When those details are missing, you're looking at a question mark, not an answer. Step 4, when you have questions, pick up the phone. The Carfax is a starting point, not a verdict. If something on it doesn't add up, call the dealership that did the servicing and ask. I can't imagine many buyers have ever done this. Have you? It's the single biggest thing you can do to protect yourself, and we do this for our clients. Keep watching because I will tell you exactly how that call goes on this particular vehicle. Now, let's run all 4 steps on a real car. This is a 2022 Hyundai Venue SEL Carfax. Just over 42,500 miles for a 3-year-old car. A little bit more than average, I feel, but still nothing to get worried about. The website says it's a certified pre-owned vehicle, so it does come with additional manufacturer warranty. At first glance, it looks like a great buy for the client we were shopping for. Now, let's see the Carfax. No accidents reported, one owner vehicle, confirmation of the Hyundai certification. I love to see that. It says that on the Carfax. Regular oil changes. Good value. $550 below Carfax's own estimated value. Great reliability forecast. If you are the typical used car buyer, this is probably where you stop reading. Everything at the top is green. You're good to go and ready to go to the car dealership. But when it comes to helping our clients, we are not the typical used car buyer. We keep going, we keep reading, because what's more important is below than what's at the top. Now, let's scroll down in the service history. The first year looks totally normal. Pre-delivery inspection, service at 4,400 miles, brakes, fluid, oil, tires checked. Another routine service just before 10,000 miles, same, textbook, normal. Then the pattern changes. October 31st, 2022, a random vehicle serviced. 10 days later, it's back. 12 days after that, it's back again. 3 visits in 22 days, and across all three of them, the odometer moved about 120 miles. June 2023, it's back in, off schedule for something involving the GPS or navigation system. 13 days later, it's back in again for another inspection, also off schedule. August 2023, another off schedule visit. And then the weirdest ones. February 29th, 2024, vehicle serviced, 27,000 miles. March 13th, 2024. Vehicle serviced 27,001 miles. 1 mile in 14 days? That is not a normal service pattern. Now, look at what all of those entries say, or more importantly, what they don't say. The normal services list out the work when reported properly by the dealership. Brakes checked, fluids checked, oil and filter changed, tires rotated. The entries in the clusters I just walked through say 2 words on almost all of those visits: vehicle serviced. That's it. That's the Carfax telling you it doesn't know what was done because, like I said, the dealership didn't properly report it to them. And when you see 10 non routine maintenance visits with no description spread out through a 4 year ownership period, you have 10 question marks on a car you're about to spend real money on. So we did what most car buyers never do. We called the dealership that had serviced the car. Here's how that call typically goes, so you can do this for yourself, or better yet, hire us at Your Car Haggler so you don't have to worry about a thing. You call the main number, you navigate to the service department. When they pick up, you say something like, "I have a rather unusual request. We're looking at buying a pre-owned vehicle that was serviced at your dealership, and there are some entries on the Carfax I was hoping to get some information on. Can you help me or transfer me to the right person, please?" If they say something like, "Let me transfer you to sales," you very much want to try to stay with the service department because the service department may be more honest with you about what was done at service. Where a salesperson, if the car is for sale on their own lot, is going to say, "Oh, it's routine, no big deal. They were just getting the tire pressure checked and topped off." If the service department wants to transfer you back to sales, I would ask to stick and talk to the service department because the service department may be more honest about what was done to the vehicle. Sales may say something like, "Oh, it wasn't a big deal," especially if the car is for sale on their lot. If the car is not for sale on the lot, you definitely want to talk to service because sales wouldn't really have any information on a car that's not for sale on their lot. But if the car is for sale on this dealership's lot, sales is more likely to say, "Oh, it might be something as small as the tire pressure being checked." But in my experience, something that small, if you just need air at the beginning or end of winter, something as simple as that, that's typically not logged as a service visit. So they will usually ask for the last 8 digits of the VIN. They pull up the history on their screen, then they tell you what they can. They will not send you the paperwork. Those records contain the previous owner's personal information, and that is private. We get that. We understand that. But a nice advisor will talk you through what they see. Here's what the advisor told us on this particular vehicle. The previous owner worked at the dealership. They were an employee. They could easily pop their car in for small things, and the service department likely just codes it as vehicle serviced. But it does not explain some of the oddities found within the Carfax, or what I just went over earlier with something as small as getting the tire pressure checked. And with so many strange visits, we didn't want to take too much of this person's time, knowing we wouldn't support the purchase of this car for our client. That 1 mile and 14 days entry, what, did the employee go on vacation for 2 weeks and leave their car at the dealer? Why would it be logged twice? Why would it be in for service 2 times? Once before they leave and once right when they get back? That doesn't make any sense. But it's also completely plausible that they even guessed their miles and it was different than what was logged. I know that when I went in for service, the service writer would typically just say, "Stu, how many miles are on your car?" And I know that I needed that information, I would have it. But is it possible this person was off and those miles were different than what was actually on the car? Completely possible. The one real mechanical repair on this car was the infotainment screen, which was replaced in June 2023 under warranty. That's it. The advisor told us, in his opinion, the car is mechanically sound. And one more detail that did make the whole story kind of check out. The weird clusters stop in early 2024, And the advisor mentioned, after being asked, that the employee left the dealership around May 2024. The data matches the explanation. So, is there anything actually wrong with this car? Probably not. Maybe. We will never know. We never presented this car to our client for a couple of reasons. One was still how the Carfax read overall, and the other is its future trade in value. Something to seriously think about here. Just because a buyer may not look at the Carfax the way we do, doesn't mean a future dealership won't. Almost all dealerships look at that vehicle's history and may assume this vehicle had issues early in its life, which may lead it to having real issues in the near or far future, and that will truly reduce its trade in value to them. A clean, clear service history has real dollar value. So let's bring it home. 4 steps to read between the lines on any Carfax. 1. Don't stop at the badges on the top. 2. Read this service history as a timeline. Look for clusters, gaps, and off-schedule visits. 3. Read what the Carfax doesn't say. Vehicle serviced with no details is a question mark, not an answer. 4. When you have questions, pick up the phone, call the service department, ask politely. Most will help you. Do these 4 things on every Carfax and you will see cars the way we see them. Reading a Carfax is one piece of how we vet a pre-owned vehicle for our clients. 2 other major pieces are analyzing the photos of a listing for things most buyers miss and doing a real pricing sanity check to make sure you're not overpaying in a hot market. We do all of that for our clients so they don't even have to lift a finger and look at different websites. In the meantime, you can absolutely apply this method yourself the next time you're car shopping. Or if you're about to spend serious money on a used car and you want another set of eyes on the whole deal, that's what we do every day. I'm Stuart, the owner of yourcarhaggler.com. We help you find, vet, and negotiate on your next car, whether it's new, pre-owned, buying, leasing, no matter where you live in the country. We take the stress and aggravation out of dealing with car dealerships. If you found this information useful, do me a favor, like and subscribe so you can catch my new content coming out. Thanks for watching. And real quick before you go, when was the last time you changed your oil?